Hello, Chris Green here with the Flood Insurance Guru. If you've got questions about flood insurance, flood education, flood zone changes, elevation certificates, click below to visit our website, floodinsuranceguru.com. You can also check out our daily flood education videos on our YouTube channel. Remember, we have an educational background on flood mitigation, which means we can help you understand flood risks like this right here, your flood insurance, and mitigating your property long term to help you minimize flood losses and flood premiums. Today we're talking about dangers of elevations. You see here, right here behind me, we're right here on the river, and you can see all the different elevations that run along this area. You can see the floodway that even runs along this area. And in talking about these dangers, we're talking about your flood insurance. We're talking about using the elevations of maybe a property that's higher up on the hill, the one that's lower down. And recently we had a customer who decided to use elevation numbers for their next door neighbor. The problem is when they got their flood insurance quote, it's about $3,800 higher. So why is that? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. So in looking at these different elevations, a good way to explain how all this works is each property has its own elevation. It's kind of like a social security number or fingerprints for an individual. It's what separates that individual from other individuals, just like these properties. Each house is going to have a different elevation. Each building is going to have a different elevation generally. And so that's what makes that building unique. That's what makes that flood risk unique. Maybe it's more negative below the base flood elevation. Maybe it's out of the high risk flood area. But these elevations all make these properties unique. And that's what we wanted to talk about, is being careful when using elevations, making sure you're using the right elevations. Or maybe you need to get an elevation certificate. Click below to visit our website, floodinsuranceguru.com, where we do have some free resources there for you. Remember, we have an educational background in flood mitigation, which means we can help you understand flood risks like this right here. Your flood insurance and mitigating your property long term to help you minimize flood losses and flood premiums.